Today, I'm going to be sharing with you what the coaches who are growing the fastest are doing, and that is long form content. I'm so excited to dive into this because it is so underutilized and so impactful. This is how you are going to speed up the buying cycle, build trust, authority, and increase sales faster in your business. So I'm going to be walking you through why long form content matters more than ever before. I'm going to be speaking to you about the 7-11-4 rule that comes from Google. I'm going to be talking about the best types of long form content for coaches to actually be utilizing, how to incorporate long form content in a really simple way. And I'm going to be giving you some actions from here. So it's kind of like a mini workshop for you guys. So I hope you're really, really excited. This is something that I actually teach my clients. And before I get into it, let me just share with you the stats. So one form of long form content in April 2026 for me brought in over $340,000 in contracted revenue. Yep. We also make over $180,000 cash a month at the moment within the business, and that is due to long form content. Now, yes, of course, there's a number of things that contribute to that. Yes, of course, there are nuances to this, but one of the biggest revenue drivers for me and my business is long form content. It's not viral TikToks, it's not viral Instagram reels, it's not having millions of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers. It's not having a super large team or cold DMing hundreds of people a day. It's none of that. It's long form content that is doing most of the work in my business. And I'm so excited to dive deep into this with you today. All right, so let's dive in. Why long form content matters more than ever before. Your potential clients are way more sophisticated now. They are taking longer to buy when you don't have long form content, and they're becoming way more discerning now than ever before. And this is because they have more choices. They have more access to free information thanks to AI. There's more tools, they're able to do more of their research, and there's more awareness on scams, being overpromised to and under-delivered to. There's a lot of people that have unfortunately had really bad experiences due to the unregulation in the coaching industry. This is really unfortunate. I think we've all had some bad experiences from time to time, myself included, but I don't let that ever stop me from moving forwards because I'm not going to let them screw me over twice, right? Because you grow when you have support and you're moving forwards. That all aside, what I'm trying to say is that trust is harder to earn than ever before due to all of this. It takes more time and depth to build real trust with your audience. And the truth is that those surface level short posts and reels and TikToks, yes, they are powerful. Yes, they can convert, but for the most part, they attract, they don't convert. They just attract people. It's no longer enough to only post short form content and expect your business to grow. People are looking deeper before investing their time, their trust, and more importantly, their money. And that's why long form content is your competitive edge. This is why long form content is so essential, because it allows you to show your expertise. Watch me do this right now. I am literally providing long form content to you right now. It shows your expertise, it builds deeper trust, and it helps people self-qualify before they ever reach out to you, to not waste their time, to not waste your time. And just on like a little side note to this, it's really easy to show up perfect and polished on an Instagram reel or a TikTok or, a short form piece of content, but it's much more difficult to do that on a long form piece of content. You start to see people's flaws and tweaks and personality come through because people just can't help but, reveal some of that, especially if they're unscripted, like you can tell I am right now. So you're going to hear me mumble and say and forget stuff and put a little joke in here and there, and you're going to hear my tone of voices and things like that, versus I know even accidentally when I'm creating short form content, I'm often showing up in this more polished way, not necessarily by looks. I'm a little bit lazy, I'm not going to lie, but definitely with my tone of voice, it sounds very professional, very created. And yes, that's me. It's not me being not me. It's just, this is more me, right? My clients get the absolute, most me there is, but then my long form content also gets that very deeply as well. Whereas my Instagram and TikTok don't really get that because it's really hard to get that across in 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 60 seconds, right? So I hope you're starting to hear the importance of it. All right. long form content moves people through the buyer journey faster because you're giving them more substance and more context, and that just builds trust, okay? It also, allows you to, really position yourself as the authority in the space, because if you really know something, you're able to talk about it for a long time, versus people that don't know something, they're going to really struggle to speak for 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Whereas I could speak for 10 hours straight on the coaching industry and marketing and different strategies and sales and systems, and I'd still be yapping. It's so easy for me because it's my jam, and that's why you can hear I'm talking so naturally right now, because this is just my thing, and people need to know that it's your thing to feel safe buying from you. Does that make sense, guys? I love how I'm asking and no one can talk back to me, but I hope that it's making sense, right? So it allows you to show up as a true leader in your space. Now I want to talk to you about the 7-11-4 rule. So Google says that it takes on average 7 hours of content to be consumed across 11 different touch points in 4 different locations before someone buys. Now, this is on average, right? So 7 hours of content could be they came to an event of yours, that's an hour. They listened to 4 podcasts or YouTube episodes of yours, which is another few hours. They've consumed, all this short form content, and then they're ready to buy, right? 11 touch points could be like different interactions on pieces of content. So they could have commented, engaged, liked, saved, shared certain things of yours. And then the 4 different locations, it could be like email, social media, podcast, and YouTube, for example. Now, this is the average. Some people need 5 minutes. Some people need an hour. Some people need 2 hours. Some people need freaking 10 years before they move forwards. This is just the average, right? But one thing I'll let you know is I really feel like I have nailed this area, which is also why I'm passionately talking about this right now. We have a 4-day average buying cycle. So someone has found me, and within 4 days later, they are a high ticket client in my business, which is just wild. And this is because of long form content. We have nailed our event process. An event is my long form content. I do my podcast and YouTube as well, but the event is the big revenue generator, the big nurturer. And it goes for an hour and a half, and I run an event once per week, and it's always the same event on average, right? And so our stat is awesome. I don't know many coaches that have a 4-day buying cycle. Most people say 3 to 6 months, 12 months, things like that. It's because not only are they not using long form content, but they just got so many holes in their funnel that, there's a whole bunch of issues. And that's why it's not just about long form content, right? You need to have a solid marketing strategy, a seamless sales process. You need to have simple systems in place. You need all of these things in order for your business to truly grow. Okay, so that is Google's, 7-11-4 rule. So I want you to think back to every big investment you've made in your business. I bet you didn't just impulsively buy something right away, like within 2 minutes of being on someone's account. I mean, maybe you did, good on you, but most likely you didn't. You probably did your research. You probably binge consumed their Instagram content, listened to a few podcast episodes, watched a few YouTube videos, and checked out their website, all before making an investment decision. Your potential clients are no different, and that this is what Google has actually studied, and they created the 7-11-4 rule. I'll give you a really quick example. I got on a sales call the other day with a male coach, or a guy that wants to be a coach. And he told me right at the beginning of the call, he said, "Do you know what, Sophia? I can't believe I'm telling you this, but I went on a 6-hour drive yesterday and I binge consumed your podcast the entire way." And guess what, guys? The moment he said that to me, I knew he was going to become a client. I knew it straight away. Not from an ego of I'm this and that, no. And in fact, he's really against egos and all of this sort of stuff, which I really respect because I'm actually the same. The reason why I knew I had signed him is not because I'm amazing, but actually because long form content has that power. If someone is still listening to you 6 hours later, they're clearly resonating. What on earth do you listen to for 6 hours straight? Nothing. I don't listen to anything for 6 hours straight. Other than myself and my boyfriend. Everyone else and everything else would probably piss me off, right? So if someone has actually consumed that much of you, they're in. But if you don't provide something valuable enough for them to actually consume, it's not going to happen, and then you're not going to sign the clients. It's as simple as that, right? So this is really what you need to recognize here. So long form content, what it does is it speeds up this process massively, because a single long form piece of content can deliver 30 minutes of deep value compared to consuming 31-minute reels. He was driving, not sitting on the couch scrolling, and he hadn't really consumed anything else. He just listened to my podcast. And guess what? He had said he'd been on many other calls. He had, spoken to many other coaches, but none landed the way that I had. And I could tell he was sold before the call had really even begun. And that is because of the long form content, right? You can also really easily repurpose long form content into 5, 10, or even 15 smaller pieces of content with, it instantly multiplies your touch points without the added effort. I once had my VA clip a long form piece of content, and she posted some of the clips on my socials. Someone found my content through, one of these repurposed clips. It was like 30 seconds, me adding value. That led her to clicking on my bio. That led her to purchasing a $149 3-hour workshop of mine. That's the link in my bio. She consumed that 3 hours. She then implemented what I taught there. She made tens of thousands of dollars within a week of consuming that, and then she became a client inside Scale School Tier 2 and paid me $15,000 in full, just like that. No sales call, no following up, no emails, no nothing. The long form content did everything, and she found me from a short form piece of content, which was just a clip from a long form piece of content. Are you starting to see the power here, guys? So when you distribute properly, you automatically show up across multiple locations, hitting those 4 places quite effortlessly without any extra work. I don't even have LinkedIn or TikTok on my phone, guys, and yet I'm posting on there every day. Or at least I think I am, thanks to my VA, right? So this is how you really build trust at scale. Now I want to talk about the best types of long form content for coaches. First, I'm going to talk about events, right? Live, free events, workshops, challenges, whatever you want to call them, it's all the same thing, but live events, that has to be number one for me, right? This is where my money is made. It builds immediate momentum and connection. It shows true leadership. There's just something magical about live energy. Like, you're probably resonating with this now and feeling that connection and rapport to me, and that's, great and amazing. And there's something even more magical about something that's live. I can't quite explain it, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right? So that is that. Number 2 is evergreen events. So this is these pre-recorded events. Now, like otherwise known as VSLs, which stands for video sales letters. Now, these are great. They run on autopilot. They can constantly warm up new leads at scale when done correctly, and they position you as the coach that they want before you ever get on a call, right? Now, this is powerful. It has to be done correctly. I've not prioritized this as much as the live events. I'm all about going all in on one thing, but it's still very, very powerful, and I know people that have made millions of dollars from doing it. So it's very, very powerful. Number 3 is podcasting, right? As people love listening to things. It's a perfect piece of long form content that people can consume on the go. Like my client, who's now my client, right? 6 hours, what else are you going to do when driving other than listen to podcasts, right? So it's perfect to learn and consume. I was also listening to podcasts and YouTube videos today as I was doing the dishes and putting the laundry away and walking around the house and tidying things up. I think I listened to like 4 podcasts on double speed because I'm crazy. So it's really powerful because I was being productive, I was learning and being nurtured by these people whilst doing other things. And then there's YouTube. It's searchable, it's evergreen, it positions you as an authority even while you sleep, and it can turn cold leads into warm buyers without you constantly posting. It's very, very powerful. So these are the best types of long form content for coaches, right? Live events, evergreen events, podcasts, and YouTube. So you want to be incorporating at least one of those into your business, all right? Now, I want to talk to you about how you can actually incorporate long-form content in a really simple way. So you don't need to create more content to be on more platforms. You just need to create smarter content. So for example, guess what? What I'm saying to you right now, I have actually delivered as a workshop for my clients before. I had taken the time to write a whole script out of the talking points, and I did it for them. I put in a lot of research and effort into it because I wanted the workshop to be good. Now, of course, I'm supporting them in an 1.5-hour workshop. So I'm talking slower and I'm going deeper and I'm helping them and I'm answering questions in the journey. But I did that, right? And right now I was thinking, hey, and I probably did that workshop like 12 months ago. I'm not going to lie, 12 months ago. And I was sitting here today thinking, do you know what? I'm overdue for creating some podcasts. What should I talk about? Oh, let me work smarter, not harder. What are some trainings that have gone so well in Scale School before that I could just do on the podcast? Guess what? I thought of this one. I still had the document with the script. Guess what I'm leveraging right now? I didn't plan anything here. I didn't think about it and even read the full document. I know what I'm talking about. Like, this is my jam, but it's still good to have some dot points. So guess what? I hit record and now I'm reading off, not word for word, but the dot points and the planning that I done a year ago, and now you're getting it. And guess what? I'm recording it. I'm sitting in my tracksuit at my dining table. I didn't wait for the lighting or for me to look perfect because none of that's going on, but I'm recording it. I've got the audio. Sure, it could look better. Sure, it could sound better. Whatever. This is what I wanted to do, right? And this is going to go on YouTube. This is going to go on podcasts. This is going to be split into TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. It's going to go everywhere. And it's going to be posted, everywhere, quite literally. And it's from a piece of effort I did a year ago, right? How cool is that? This is what I mean by working smarter, not harder, right? I have many times taken modules from my program or frequently asked questions in my program and leverage that as ideas for my podcast. Now, Scale School always gets the most value. They're always going to get more substance. But more importantly, it's not about the information. You can get information for free anywhere, just like you're getting right now. The value is in being in a paid program is getting the feedback. If you've got questions right now, guess what? I can't answer them for you. You can hope I address it. But if you've got questions, if you want feedback, if you want personalization with this, you're not going to get that here. You need to be in a paid program to get that. And that's why people in paid programs grow faster than people that are guessing, trying to figure it out on their own. Like, they're just not going to get there at the same speed, and there's just no doubt about it. I've made, I don't know, $3 to $4 million now. I should get clear on the exact number, but let's just say over $3 million in my business to date. And I've had a coach every day I've been in business. Like, I'm never without support, ever, and that is why I am where I am. Prior to this, I was working 5 casual jobs at $20 an hour, 60 hours a week. I didn't know anything about business, marketing, sales, nothing. I learned this from investing money into the growth. I don't know of many people that have made this amount of money in this short period of time. Of course, there's so many people that have, but there's more people that haven't. And that's because most people don't have support. Most people don't invest in their growth. Most people don't go above and beyond, right? And so they don't get those above and beyond results. And it's just as simple as that. Bit of a tangent, but I just wanted to share how working smarter, not harder is really key. And don't be afraid of, but this is just for my clients. No, the value for your clients is the support that you're going to give them. It's the personalization that you give them. It's the more depth that you give them. For example, I recorded just before an episode on setting up your social media bio. The difference is, I teach that to my clients, but the difference is they get a ChatGPT bot that does it all for them for all social media platforms, and they can just copy and paste it. Whereas people just listening to my episode, they need to write it all themselves. They don't get feedback on it. They're guessing if they got it right, all of this sort of stuff. They're doing it on rocky foundations, and that's the difference. So don't be afraid of giving your quote unquote best information away for free, because the proximity is the speed, and that's in your program, and long form content doesn't necessarily do that, right? It'll just build that trust and help people. So don't be afraid of that. So that's how you work smarter, not harder, when it comes to incorporating long form content easily into your business. I record one piece of content and that ends up on multiple different platforms in multiple different formats, right? Really, really powerful stuff. Okay. Now, the rise of AI is really speeding up that surface level content more than ever before. I'm sure you already know it. I'm even bored of my own content on short form. I'm just getting over it. I don't even consume that much short form content anymore because so much of it is just loud, waste of time noise. And I seriously even feel that sometimes with my own short form content. So I'm really getting intentional right now to change that up. I've done a whole bunch of things even today alone to really raise my standards in that area, because I don't want to fall in the category of everyone else's shitty content, right? And so my point is though, because of all of this, long form content is really what is going to be the driver for you in your business. It's going to propel you forward and speed up the buying cycle. So if you think the average person needs 7 hours of content consumption, well, what's going to be faster? Like 14, 30-minute podcast episodes, or I don't know, a billion 7-second reels, however many that is to get to 7 hours. Like obviously it's going to be faster for you and for your potential client to consume the long form content. You just got to do it strategically. Okay. So this is why you've got to prioritize this. Okay. If you are subscribed to my podcast, I'm sure you listen quite regularly. I could be wrong in that, but I do get a fair few messages from people saying, oh, I listen to your podcast every week. And sometimes I'll wake up to sales. People have joined Scale School Foundations. No message to me, no conversation. They just have purchased because they've listened to so much of my content, right? So, for these reasons, it can be really powerful to have long form content because it'll just do that, right? Because people feel like they know you, so they feel really safe with you, and short form content just won't do that at the same level. So what I want you to do from here is to pick one long form piece of content to commit to for the next 90 days. Is it podcast? Is it YouTube? Is it easy to just repurpose to both? Is it events? So pick one platform and then create one piece of content and do it once per week. My podcast is once a week, which means my YouTube is once a week. It's the same thing. And then watch how much faster people start trusting you and reaching out and buying from you, because if they listen once, they're likely going to listen again and again and again. I'm not subscribed to many podcasts, but the ones I am, I listen to religiously, right? And I feel like they're my best friend and they don't even know who I am. And that's just the power of it. And people need to feel that trust in order to buy. So let's go build trust at scale and become that obvious next choice for people who need what you offer.